Well, Elon Musk is rattling Zelensky. Ukrainian troops are rattling Russian forces. Russia's front line reportedly collapsing in South Ukraine. Sources say Ukrainian troops liberated dozens of towns in a matter of hours. And the offensive in the east still very much moving forward. U.S. officials celebrating the progress, but they're warning there's lots of heavy fighting ahead. How long before Putin pulls the emergency shoot, and what does that look like? Joining me now, KTTH Seattle radio host and U.S. Army combat veteran. He's got his binoculars on backwards. He's that good. Bryan Suits. He is here. So, Suits, what do you make of where Putin's at right now?
Well, since he provoked the war and the United States didn't, he's probably in complete shock to find out that his army completely sucks. There is an off-ramp for both sides, and it's got nothing to do with nuclear weapons. It does have to do with nuclear threats and all that, but what he's discovering is the faster you put untrained guys there, the faster the Ukrainians capture them. Because I've already seen on Telegram today some of the debriefs of guys who just 6 days ago were, don't call me now, guys
Bryan, you're
who
on
just
TV.
I know, Mom. But already, people are because there's an 800 number, the equivalent in Russia called "I don't want to die." You call and it gives you directions on how to surrender. So what he's seeing on Telegram, which is unfiltered in Russia, because this is getting to him. He's got layers, but it's getting to him. That it's a complete disaster down there. His generals are not providing the victory that they promised back in February. Probably he has a fallback plan, and it's probably not a bad one if peace is what you prize more than sovereignty or fighting aggression.
So what is the off-ramp?
The off-ramp is probably that he goes back to the February 23rd borders, a UN peacekeeping force, very much like the DMZ on the Korean Peninsula, gets between Ukraine and Russia. This doesn't happen until the Ukrainians are done with their counteroffensive in the south and the north. Because they're on the verge of regaining the territory since February 23rd anyway. But in all likelihood, it comes back to him because he has to have something. So he gets to say, look, all the people that are Russian now live in a country called Russia, and I taught NATO a lesson or two. And the war ends with the ethnic majority Russian population, as seen here, in Russia. This is what calms the guy down. The wild card here is she, because if you don't know, I think we've talked about it on your show, Kennedy on Fox Business. The Chinese own about 15% of the arable land in Ukraine. There's no way Putin is nuking next year's, wontons. No, it's not going to happen. But she knows that. Well, you got to rattle a saber.
Yeah. But she ultimately. He wants to make money. He's like my dad. My dad didn't care who was president, just as long as he was making money. And it's like he knows that Putin is, every time he talks about nukes and gets everyone's hairs up, he's just flesh and cheese money down the toilet. But I think you're absolutely right. And that's going to be, even though, he's Winnie the Pooh and he's a big shirt cocker, he's still the guy who is going to give the ultimate off-ramp. I think you're right about that, Suits.
And that's part of the reason that we malwared Nord Stream 1 and 2, because now his only outlet to make money is China and India, and they're already lowballing him and reselling the gas to Europe.
Yeah, and
so
he's buying potato guns and slingshots from North Korea. That's true.
Absolutely, and they're damned effective, I can tell you.
Oh, Suits, we have to go because everyone's mad at me. I think you're wonderful. I hope you come to New York someday. I hope we get to hold hands and skip around Times Square, just like the old days. All right.
Like old days in L.A. and the poop and the needles.
No, those are the new days. Suits, thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon.